firstly, इसका क्या story है? And then how was the law school life?
It was one of the most happening, enriching, learning 5-year period in my whole life. I met Harsh at his campus. One of the moot court competitions that I was participating in is Shanta Kumar sir, who was also teaching me international law and was the convener of the head of the moot court society.
Top 2 से 3 टिप उनको क्या दे सकते हो जिनका फर्स्ट ईयर स्टार्ट होता है?
2 suggestions. One is hit the ground running.
Okay.
Number 2, please अखबार थोड़ा ध्यान से. Number 3, ये अगर पता है किसी को तो अखबार वो पढ़ रहा है. अदरवाइज सिर्फ ट्विटर खोल के आपको पता है कि स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मोज, तो स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मोज तो मुझे लगता है चाय सुट्टा वाले को भी पता है.
The pattern changes in CLAT and law entrances over the years. 2011.
See the first semester, relax and then अच्छा अब मैं थर्ड ईयर से पढ़ाई करूंगा. अब लॉ करना चाहते हो लेकिन स्पीकिंग से प्रॉब्लम है. That's like a surgeon having problem with blood. रैगिंग वगैरह के लिए जितना बदनाम किया जाता है, I think law school में रैगिंग is almost non-existent. Most of the world is still stuck at ChatGPT. But you go to any good law school, 95 to 99% people have already shifted to Claude. या फिर हर्ष सर जैसे लोगों का कम से कम पहचान नेटवर्क बना के रखो तो हर्ष सर बता देंगे.
ये वो सजेशंस नहीं है जो बहुत इजीली क्लॉड पे या चैट जीपीटी पे या रेडिट पे कोई या यूट्यूब पे मिल जाएंगे. Hi guys, this is Harsh Gagrani, co-founder Top Rankers. I hope सारे CLAT Aspirants की तैयारी ट्रैक पर होगी. आप में से बहुत सारे लोगों ने अभी रिसेंटली पढ़ाई करना चालू करी होगी एंड आई होप इनिशियल फ्यू डेज फ्यू वीक्स ट्रैक पर होंगे, समझ में आ रहा होगा तैयारी कैसे करनी है. एवरी वंस इन अ वाइल वी ब्रिंग अ स्पेशल गेस्ट टू दिस पॉडकास्ट एंड वी ट्राई कि ऐसे गेस्ट जिनकी जर्नी काफ़ी इंस्पायरिंग है, जिनकी जर्नी से बहुत सारे CLAT एस्पिरेंट्स, CLAT स्टूडेंट्स, लॉ स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स रिलेट कर पाएंगे, ऐसे लोगों को पॉडकास्ट पे लेके आए. सो टुडे वी हैव विद अस Debajyoti, who is a law graduate from HNLU Raipur, coincidentally in the same batch as me, which is 2006-2011, and a very dear friend, almost 8-10 साल से. So over the next 30, 35, 40 minutes, we'll be having a casual chit chat with Debajyoti. So, welcome to the podcast, Deb.
Thank you, Harsh. It's wonderful to be here. And I think what makes me most happy is that the wonderful infrastructure that I was able to see, the spectacular classrooms that I was able to visit, brought me back to my teaching days as well. I was very happy to see so many enthusiastic students walking around in your offices, academic team, everything. Anyway, above all, last but not the least, very happy to meet you at your office after such a long time. Good to be here. Hello to all of you as well. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. And I'm looking forward to a fruitful conversation. And I hope I can bring something which would be relevant for all your students as well.
Yes. Wonderful. Yeah. So, Deb, you've had a very rich and a very interesting background. So in 2006, from what I know, from what I remember, so 2006 में there used to be no CLAT. CLAT started in 2008. So 2006 में जब अपन लोगों ने अपने अपने लॉ एंट्रेंसेस लिखे थे तो हर लॉ स्कूल का अलग अलग एंट्रेंस हुआ करता था. NLS का अलग, नालसार का अलग, and so on and so forth. So even though you cracked HNLU, but you also cracked, now this is the interesting part, he also cracked NLS Bangalore ka entrance.
Yes.
And he was all India ranked 20.
Yes.
But you decided to not go to NLS and you went to Raipur.
Right.
So firstly, iska kya story hai? And then how was the law school life, I think?
So, 2005, I was already at HNLU. So I had already invested a year of studying law of torts and, all the other introductory subjects of the first year. So, of course, for a variety of reasons, फिर से Bangalore का entrance तो देना ही था, and I did give it, and God's grace, little bit of luck, and probably a bit of preparation as well, I ultimately did go through. But I think in the end, I just didn't want to drop the full year and go study the same subjects all over again. In retrospect, it probably didn't make too much of a difference because, as you know, right after graduation, I anyway joined Amarchand in their capital markets team. I think maybe if I wanted to go work for a foreign firm directly, Bangalore has a little more access to those firms compared to HNLU. But in retrospect, I mean, no regrets. I have wonderful friends from NLS Bangalore as well. And of course, a really, really nostalgic experience the moment I talk about HNLU. And law school was, I mean, to anybody who's still preparing for law entrance, I'm just going to start by an absolutely simple truth. Believe me when I say law school is every bit as awesome as you might have been told. It was one of the most happening, enriching, learning 5-year period in my whole life. I made friends, which I mean, I think I will only lose those friendships when I die. I have professors who I met who I still interact with so many times. There's travel experience. I met Harsh at his campus for a few, in one of the moot court competitions that I was participating in. So it's such a diverse experience that law school brings. In fact, currently I'm working with Karnavati University. I'm handling their placements as well as one of the credit courses. And the dean at Karnavati University is an old professor of mine,
From HNLU.
Lakshmi ma'am, who used to teach me family law at that time. And I mean, we've always been like family, through the law school period. I'm just about finishing my master's after so many years. I decided to take a break, as you know, and I'm doing that. तो again, वो भी मैं जब गुजरात Maritime University में कर रहा हूँ, the director of GNLU, who's also the provost of GMU, is Shanta Kumar sir, who was also teaching me international law and was the convener of the head of the Moot Court Society at HNLU. You do your internships where you get real life clinical experience. I've interned with law firms, the then Solicitor General of India, Ghulam Vahanvati, who later on, by the way, went on to become Attorney General, and of course, he's passed away recently. So, whether it is publications, research work, Microsoft actually paid for my 5th year fees because they gave me a scholarship for essay competition कराए थे, and Amarchand had evaluated it. So you get to work with so many people. I mean, you anyway know, but for the people who are looking to go to law school, I think it's a very enriching experience, and it's every bit as much fun as it is made out to be. Now, this is only the academic side of it.
Okay.
Of course, there's a lot of fun happening on campus as well. Hostel life is again every bit as awesome as you might think. अब रैगिंग वगैरह के लिए जितना बदनाम किया जाता है, आई थिंक लॉ स्कूल में रैगिंग इज ऑलमोस्ट नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट. इट इज लिटरली व्हाट इट इज कॉल्ड कि इंट्रोडक्शन है, तो सही में आके नाम ही तो पूछते हैं, ये तो नहीं हो रहा है कि नहीं उठक बैठक करो, और सो नन ऑफ दैट क्रेजीनेस हैपेंस इन लॉ स्कूल्स. इट्स सो on the other hand, because of those basic introductions, you end up again developing relationships that goes on
with
forever.
The seniors, yes.
10 months back, I came to Gandhinagar to take a break and do my master's. And I'm telling you, the first person who visited my house, from Gandhinagar, was a 2014 batch ka IAS officer from Gujarat, because he was mere college ke senior. That's the first person who came to meet me. He's now, of course, ab wo adhikari hain, senior hain, etc. But so it didn't seem like that at all, because we had lived on the same campus. So there's a spectacular network also that you develop, and that would be true, I think, irrespective of which major city of India I go to. वो कोई ना कोई alumni के circle में होता ही है, और वो आएंगे, मुलाकात होगी, and you don't even feel like कि ये DM साहब है, क्या है. For me, it's just Arvind भैया. And we talked about law school and back to mess conversation and this conversation and that conversation. So life in law school, before I drop to tears and want to go back to law school, that's it's a spectacular experience for sure.
I think listening to this podcast would be a lot of students who have just either cleared CLAT,
yes,
or cleared some law entrance examination and now joining a law school in the next few months. टॉप 2 से 3 टिप उनको क्या दे सकते हो जिनका फर्स्ट ईयर स्टार्ट हो रहा है, एंड टिप स्पेसिफिकली फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर, थिंग्स टू टेक केयर ऑफ.
Yes. So, I think one of the things that these professional colleges and professional degrees really don't give you time to take the first year as a honeymoon phase.
Okay.
Because what we have is a CGPA system. अब CGPA GPA आपने सुना ज़रूर होगा, but what it really means is a cumulative grade point average, which means आपका फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर का, फर्स्ट एंट्रेंस का, फर्स्ट मिड टर्म पेपर का जो 15 नंबर का भी हो रहा है, it will ultimately have an effect on your fifth year का final results. And so you have to hit the ground running, make the most of वो क्या कहते हैं carpe diem, fully like live life to the maximum possible extent. I went to the woods to live fully, to suck the marrow of life. And so you cannot really wait, see the first semester, relax, and then अच्छा अब मैं थर्ड ईयर से पढ़ाई करूँगा, वो होगा नहीं, because फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर का पहला मार्क्स भी ऐड होता है. So the first suggestion I have is don't take the first few days casually either.
Okay.
Take academics seriously from day one. You will have all the opportunities in the world to be able to relax, have fun, and do all the happy things that you otherwise want to do. But academics should be a priority. University में कोई जा रहे हो तो यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ाई करने जाते हैं, मस्ती तो हो जाएगा तो, but that's not why you're going to the university. So and I've seen not just over the past few years, I think many people commit that mistake. It's a common mistake कि पहला कुछ दिन तो ऐसे ही निकल गया, पहला सेमेस्टर ही निकल गया, दूसरे तीसरे सेमेस्टर में सोचना शुरू कर रहे हैं कि अब पढ़ना है. तो अब पढ़ने में वो ऑलरेडी बैकलॉग, सो फॉर द रेस्ट 4.5 years you're playing catch up. Don't commit that mistake. That's one. Two, because law school offers you such a diverse experience with the dynamic world that we live in. I mean, here at Karnavati University, for example, we have so many specific courses designed for exactly what's happening today. Whether it is on energy laws, whether it is on maritime and shipping regulations, AI specializations in certificate courses, and a lot of good law schools offer it. I'm not even suggesting that it's unique to one law school. Most of the top law schools, including national law universities and others, you will see have adapted very, very quickly, just like the top business schools and IIMs. So because we offer that diversity of, educational exposure, it's important that you also keep tracking important changes and developments as they happen. So again, another academic suggestion I would have is आप अखबार ध्यान से डेली पढ़ो जरूर. मैं नहीं कह रहा कि आप एंट्रेंस की तैयारी के लेवल पे रोज पढ़ते रहो. आप यूपीएससी देना चाहते हो बाद में तो वैसे भी पढ़ोगे, बट अगर उतना डिटेल में नहीं भी पढ़ रहे आप, एटलीस्ट यू हैव टू नो दैट स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज इज क्लोज्ड. यू हैव टू, चलो वो तो आप सोशल मीडिया खोलोगे तो भी दिख जाएगा, बट स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज के बदले में ऑल्टरनेटिव रूट लोग अब कहाँ से ले रहे हैं. Are they going to the Red Sea? What's happening with Bab el Mandab basically, which is also likely to be shut down? ये अगर पता है किसी को तो अखबार वो पढ़ रहा है. अदरवाइज सिर्फ ट्विटर खोल के आपको पता है कि स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज, तो स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज तो मुझे लगता है चाय सुट्टा वाले को भी पता है, बाहर अगर ढूंढा जाएगा, इट्स नॉट अ बिग डील. इट डजंट रिफ्लेक्ट दैट यू आर एक्चुअली स्टडी. सो कीप अ ट्रैक ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आर हैपनिंग. इट्स अ वेरी वेरी फास्ट evolving world. The speed of globalization is too radical for you not to be involved or take the risk of not being involved. So 2 suggestions. One is hit the ground running.
Okay.
Number 2, please अखबार थोड़ा ध्यान से. Number 3, develop relationships from day one. I'm not saying start looking at people as an asset, but develop friendships. You cannot, otherwise आप देखो क्या वेलकम में डायलॉग है, ये किस लाइन में आ गए हैं आप. अब लॉ करना चाहते हो लेकिन स्पीकिंग से प्रॉब्लम है. दैट्स लाइक अ सर्जन हैविंग प्रॉब्लम विद ब्लड, और आई डोंट नो, somebody wants to become a mathematician but does not like numbers. It doesn't work out. So you have to be interested in speaking. So go meet people, speak, introduce yourself, hang out with them. These are the people who will help you when you're applying to law firms later. अभी तुम्हारे सीनियर हैं, कल वही पार्टनर बन चुके हैं, आपका एप्लीकेशन लाइफ में ईजियर होता है. When I did an internship at Amarchand, the difference between, and that's I think the one time, coming to a previous question that you had asked कि भाई बैंगलोर क्यों नहीं गए, that's the only time I thought बैंगलोर ना जाने की थोड़ी गलती हो गई है.
Okay.
Not overall, like today I don't think that, but when I did an internship at Amarchand, एक NLS बैंगलोर का भी लड़का आया था इंटर्नशिप करने, एक HNLU का देवज्योति आया था इंटर्नशिप करने. अच्छा, जो NLS बैंगलोर का था, बिफोर लंच दैट पर्सन ऑलरेडी गॉन अराउंड एंड हाई फाइव्ड half a dozen people in the office, क्योंकि वो सब NLS बैंगलोर के हैं. वो लंच से पहले सीनियर एसोसिएट, प्रिंसिपल एसोसिएट, इक्विटी पार्टनर सबसे जाके हाई हेलो करके कैजुअल कॉन्वर्सेशन अबाउट लॉ स्कूल चल रहा है उनका कि भाई अच्छा इज लिजी मैम स्टिल टीचिंग हिस्ट्री, अभी मेस में भी अभी भी वो सांबर में ज़्यादा वो है कि नहीं. In the meanwhile, I'm going and talking to everybody saying, hello, sir, my name is Debajyoti. Do you have any work? Please think of me if you have any work. So it was slightly more challenging for me. What I'm trying to point out is the third suggestion that I have is develop your relationships. Please go meet people. They're right there on campus, right? तो क्यों नहीं मुलाकात करो, बिल्कुल मिलो, दोस्ती करो, यारी करो. वो फन वाला पार्ट उसमें अपने आप टेक केयर हो भी जाएगा. So if I had to make 3 suggestions, then these are definitely the top 3 suggestions I would have कि भाई अखबार ज़रूर पढ़ो, आप डायनामिक वर्ल्ड है वही है, तो यू शुड कीप अ ट्रैक ऑफ दोज थिंग्स. यू हैव टू हिट द ग्राउंड रनिंग. ये नहीं कि तीसरे सेमेस्टर से पढ़ाई शुरू करेंगे. लॉ स्कूल डज नॉट गिव यू दैट काइंड ऑफ ब्रीदिंग स्पेस. एंड यारी दोस्ती भैया दीदी सब अच्छे से ज़रूर करो, वो सब लाइफ टाइम के लिए डेफिनेटली काम करता है.
So all the law aspirants and law students also take note of this. ये वो सजेशंस नहीं है जो बहुत इजीली क्लॉड पे या चैट जीपीटी पे या रेडिट पे कोई या यूट्यूब पे मिल जाएंगे. दिस लाइक
See, you know, and Claude and ChatGPT is a very good example of how a good law student thinks or should think.
Okay.
See, most of the world is still stuck at ChatGPT. But you go to any good law school, 95 to 99% people have already shifted to Claude.
Yes.
And I'm assuming all of your students are already aware enough कि Anthropic is the new open AI. But and again, so if you don't know that, तो आप GPT करते रहोगे और आपका AI productivity भी 20% नीचे ही रहेगा. इसीलिए अखबार जरूर पढ़ो, या फिर हर्ष सर जैसे लोगों का कम से कम पहचान नेटवर्क बना के रखो, तो हर्ष सर बता देंगे. तो सी बोथ दोस थिंग्स वर्क आउट इवन इन सिंपल थिंग्स लाइक दिस. इट्स अ लाइफ थिंग मोर देन अ लॉ स्कूल थिंग, आई थिंक.
And Deb, how was your journey post law school? So abhi you casually mentioned that you joined Amarchand.
Yes.
So how was your stint there? And to last, so it's been I think close to 15 years since you graduated, since we graduated both of us. वो journey generally कैसा रहा? And तो हाँ, maybe a little bit on that.
Right after graduation is basically when I joined. I think it was the dream law firm for most people that time. Even today, of course, it's no longer Amarchand Mangaldas. It is now Cyril Amarchand and Shardul Amarchand. So for all
I think one of the very
practical,
few law firm names जो CLAT aspirants भी जानते
थे. मेरे टाइम पे भी, हमारे टाइम पे भी.
Yes.
We were preparing for law school, तब भी होता था कि अमरचंद मंगलदास तो है, and क्या my name is Khan, I'm not a terrorist. Amarchand is a law firm, not a jewelry store. But you know,
jewelry store, and I remember Mr. Sachin Malhan, who started LST.
Yes.
तो मेरा लॉ की तरफ इंक्लिनेशन तब हुआ था जब मैंने उनका सेमिनार अटेंड किया था, एंड आई थिंक ही वाज आल्सो फ्रॉम अमरचंद.
Yes, yes.
एंड उन्होंने, आप बोल रहे हो इट्स नॉट अ ज्वेलरी स्टोर, उन्होंने कहा था कि ये कोई बिड़ी की कंपनी नहीं है क्योंकि अमरचंद मंगलदास इस टाइप के नाम जनरली बिड़ी की कंपनीज के भी होते हैं. तो हाँ, बट इट वाज आई थिंक century old law firm.
So I mean, having worked there, of course, I know the full story. Is Amarchand, Shroff, and Mangaldas Mehta are the two people who had started the law firm. So earlier the name of the firm was Amarchand Mangaldas and Suresh A. Shroff and Company. So Suresh Shroff is basically Amarchand Shroff's son.
Okay.
And Cyril Shroff and Shardul Shroff, जो अभी Sam और Cam आपका है, Cyril and Shardul are the sons of Suresh Shroff. So grandson of Amarchand Shroff is it. Mangaldas Mehta's family is no longer involved in the legal field. They've all moved abroad. And so the unique part about Amarchand and how it became such a huge law firm, my specialization was in the capital markets team. So जितने भी आप अखबार में देखते हैं ना कि प्लीज रीड द ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट केयरफुली बिफोर इन्वेस्टिंग, म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्ट सब्जेक्ट टू मार्केट. तो वो जो तो somebody has to make that offer document in compliance with SEBI का ICDR guidelines and RBI regulations, NSE के guidelines है, BSE के guidelines है, foreign funds है तो FEMA भी देखना है, NGO involved है, FCRA देखना है. So that's what we do. Closely work with investment bankers, book running lead managers, and of course auditing firms, क्योंकि financial statements तो audit होना ही है. तो अमरचंद इसलिए बहुत बड़ा फर्म बन गया था. फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट टाइम इट वाज लाइक द सेकंड लार्जेस्ट लॉ फर्म इन इंडिया, वाज लेस देन हाफ द साइज ऑफ अमरचंद. तो व्हाट अमरचंद हैड डन इज इट वाज द फर्स्ट फर्म टू एक्चुअली एस्टैब्लिश अ बॉम्बे दिल्ली नेक्सस. सो या तो दिल्ली में बड़े फर्म्स होते थे या बॉम्बे में होते थे. शार्दुल श्रॉफ वेंट फ्रॉम अ बॉम्बे लॉ फर्म टू दिल्ली and they established the Bombay-Delhi nexus very, very appropriately, or at least that's what my understanding is. And that's how it grew to 500 plus lawyer team, even way back in 2010 when I was working in their cap marks team. And even after partition, they continue to be the largest law firms in India, along with Trilegal, Luthra, and a few other tier 1 firms. Okay. So again, corporate firms are also everything good that you've heard about it is true, and not everything bad that you've heard about it is true. Okay. And particularly for, I don't want to sound offensive, but particularly for the people of the Gen Z crowd today, I think it's very important, and they should really take this advice seriously. कि देखो, आपको अगर कोई ज्वाइनिंग सैलरी में 1.5 लाख रुपए देगा, 5 स्टार में रुकवाएगा, कहीं भी ट्रैवल हो रहा है तो
पूरा काम करवाएगा,
तो काम तो करोगे. Number 1. Number 2, it's most people commit the mistake of looking at the starting salary. Okay. I don't think you should go to a top tier corporate firm because of the starting salary. That's not the point. The point is the upwards journey. So 1.5 लाख मिल रहा है कि 2 लाख मिल रहा है या कोई लाख रुपए दे रहा है, those are all irrelevant numbers at a corporate law firm. You have to understand कि तनख्वाह आपकी 10 लाख रुपए महीने तक भी जा रही है, किसी की 20 लाख रुपए महीने तक जा रही है, जितने की एनुअल तनख्वाह को आप मंथली में कन्वर्ट करने के पोजीशन में आ सकते हो वेरी इजीली. So to be able to hit those kind of numbers, to become an equity partner in those firms, the first few years में काम सीखोगे तभी तो होगा. How much expertise do I really have before joining a firm? कि ICDR क्या होता है, कि गाइडलाइंस क्या होते हैं, अगर फॉरेन फंड आएंगे तो कौन सा फॉर्म फाइल करना है, RBI से कब परमिशन लेनी है, कब RBI को इन्फॉर्म करना है. These are all things that you cannot really learn as much in law school also, to be fair. At Karnavati, for example, we are looking to explore some of the collaboration courses where CAM के साथ हम actually एक course करने वाले हैं as part of our law degree. So when अब law firm के partners ही आके पढ़ाएंगे तो चलो it can be resolved, which is exactly what we are trying to do at Karnavati. But if that's not happening, तो आपको corporate law के 2 course भी हैं, HNLU में भी थे, तो लेकिन उसमें क्या पढ़ रहा था मैं? पढ़ तो मैं यही रहा था कि प्राइवेट कंपनी पब्लिक कंपनी में डिफरेंस क्या है, इसमें इतने डायरेक्टर होने चाहिए, डायरेक्टर का अपॉइंटमेंट क्या होता है, बट फॉर्म कौन सा फाइल करना है, हाउ टू ड्राफ्ट अ बोर्ड रेजोल्यूशन, हाउ टू लुक फॉर कंसेंट रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर इक्विटी रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग in a bank loan, what's the difference between term loan, operating loan, bond issuance, इतना टेक्निकल अल्टीमेटली आपको लॉ स्कूल में मुश्किल है, अनलेस लॉ फर्म्स को ही आप इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं इन द कोर्स डिजाइन एंड टीचिंग. So I mean, long story short, देखो काम तो होगा. आप सूट्स देखते हैं स्टूडेंट्स, सूट्स में क्या दिखाता है कि माइक रॉस वेंट टू द लाइब्रेरी एंड देन कट सीन 2, माइक रॉस हैज फिनिश्ड हिज रिसर्च एंड इट्स मॉर्निंग. वो जो दिखा नहीं रहे वो ये है कि रात भर माइक रॉस लाइब्रेरी में बैठा था. और सिमिलरली व्हेन यू आर साइनिंग अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कि ये देखिए मेरा प्लेसमेंट हो गया, इतनी सैलरी है, तो तुरंत डिवाइडेड बाय 12 करके यू फिगर्ड आउट मंथली कितना मिलेगा. आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू रिमाइंड एवरीवन, बीच में महीना भी बीतेगा एंड यू हैव टू लिव थ्रू दैट मंथ एंड बी एबल टू वर्क थ्रू दैट मंथ एंड इट्स in the words of Harvey Specter, it's a grown goddamn man's job. This is not going to be easy. This is not for children. It's obviously hard work. So of course the rewards are fantastic. I mean, year 1 I already had a Taj Gold membership, an American Express Platinum card, and obviously 5 stars and everything. So it's everything good about it is true. Everything bad, like I said, is not true. एकदम वो सुबह से शाम आपको harass करने के लिए नहीं बैठे हैं. They want their work done. And they're also working. The client also has a deadline. Stock market also is going to respond to how you're dealing with litigation exposure or tax avoidance. Avoidance चलता है, evasion नहीं चलता है. Evasion illegal हो गया. So that means you'll have to work while you do it. I had a wonderful experience. Just a few days back, I was speaking to the partner that I used to work with. Okay. He wanted to know about a lawyer in Odisha, which is where I'm originally from. So now he's the group legal head for Rainbow Hospitals. It's a major hospital chain across India. Not as big as Apollo, but I mean it's a big one. तो अब अंशुमन सर से भी बात कर रहा था तो ही वाज आल्सो ट्राइंग टू पॉइंट आउट यही कि आजकल तो विलिंगनेस टू वर्क हार्ड एंड वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस सी व्हेन यू आर वर्किंग हार्ड इट्स नॉट जस्ट फॉर द कंपनी द लास्ट थिंग आई वुड वांट टू से अबाउट अमरचंद इज इट्स ऑल्सो फॉर योर ओन लर्निंग ये जो आप 1.5 लाख से 15 लाख रुपए महीने पे जाओगे उससे पहले एक लर्निंग कर्व है what the tier 1 law firms offer you is a very steep learning curve, which is why it feels like it's a lot of hard work, but it's actually an accelerated training program for you as well. You're doing 3 transactions. Yes, you are up till 2 in the night and 3 in the night, and I've gone back home at 7 in the morning and come back at 9 once again. अब आज ही स्टॉक मार्केट में 700 करोड़ की फाइलिंग है तो घर पे सोने का टाइम तो नहीं मिलेगा ना. That's okay. But that means in that one day I learned more than I would have learned in 15 days of classes. फॉर श्योर क्योंकि फाइनल डॉक्यूमेंटेशन चेक कर रहे हैं ना हम वहीं बैठे हैं सभी 4 लोग बैठे हैं पार्टनर भी वहीं बैठा है बैंकर का भी वहीं रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा है सो इट्स अ वेरी स्टीप लर्निंग कर्व विच इज अ ह्यूज एडवांटेज इफ यू सब्सिक्वेंटली वांट टू क्लाइंब दोज लैडर्स कि 1.5 लाख रुपए महीने तो मेरा पॉकेट मनी भी नहीं है इट्स मच मोर देन दैट सो टू रीच देयर ऑब्वियसली मेहनत तो देखो लगेगी विच इज सो एनीवन हु इज लिसनिंग आई होप पढ़ाई करो मेहनत के लिए थोड़ा प्रिपेयर्ड रहो उसके बाद चिल करने के लिए बहुत सारे आपको पैसे मिल जाएंगे that's not a problem. So after Amarchand, as you know, I've been involved in teaching. I was also in the test prep industry for a long time. Teaching, I think, is a completely different experience. It cannot be compared with corporate firms at all. I'm not talking about hard work. I think teaching is as much of a, I mean, क्या अमरचंद में भी आप क्लाइंट फेसिंग काम कम करते हैं जैसे अब रोज सुबह सीधा सीएफओ के साथ मेरी मीटिंग थोड़ी हो रही थी चलो पार्टनर को करना पड़ता था ऑन द अदर हैंड टीचिंग इज फार मोर चैलेंजिंग देन व्हाट पीपल मेक इट आउट टू बी बिकॉज देयर आर नो रीटेक्स अभी हमारा ये कॉन्वर्सेशन भी एक बार हम कुछ एडिट कर सकते हैं बैकग्राउंड में म्यूजिक डाल दिया मेरी खांसी को म्यूट कर दिया कुछ कर सकते हैं बट इनसाइड अ क्लासरूम there is simply no retakes. If you screw it up badly, everybody's going to laugh at you. It's just, and not to mention if 15 years younger people start judging you for your ignorance, तो वो तो अलग ही बात हो जाती है. So I think I truly have cherished every single class that I've taken, given especially the fact that I'm from a small city of Raurkela. Some of your students might have heard about it because of the steel plant है. भिलाई बोकारो दुर्गापुर और राउरकेला में बड़ा सा स्टील प्लांट है. So, you know, and I've studied in a Sarkari school, Ispat English medium school. No, I love my school. I'm not trying to sound negative about it, but it's obviously as you can imagine, ऐसा नहीं है कि वहाँ पर full दून या you know DPSR के पूरम vibes आती थी. So from there to be able to teach, so even today when I walk into the class, and what like I've been teaching for almost 14 years, 15 years now. But even today when I walk into the class, the first thing I do is whiteboard या जो भी होता है वहाँ पर मैं एक बार प्रॉपर चेक करता हूँ एक मार्कर लेके and what I'm actually doing is reminding myself that I can do public speaking. ये ऐसा कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होने वाला है अभी छोटे शहर और ये सब करने ही प्रॉब्लम है आता तो ही अंग्रेजी बोल लेना देवज्योति कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा बट yeah like I said I mean I think it's been one of the most fulfilling things I've done in my whole life to be able to guide students talk about their dreams and aspirations, share my dreams and aspirations. It's nothing could have been more fulfilling. And also given the fact that I teach legal aptitude, that means again, and given the changes CLAT has brought in terms of their pattern, particularly in terms of the nature of questions, in the sense कि आजकल बहुत सारे current affairs related passages आने लगे हैं. तो अब बाय डिफॉल्ट मेरे भी फिर अखबार पढ़ने का प्रॉब्लम आती नहीं है कि चलो मेरे को भी तो क्लास के लिए तैयारी करनी है सो दैट मीन्स आई एम ऑल्सो एनीवे अब जीपीटी की जगह मेरा क्लॉड का शिफ्ट अपने आप हो जाएगा क्योंकि क्लास के लिए तैयारी करते वक्त दिख जाता है कि एंथ्रोपिक का सीईओ आया था एआई समिट में और बोल के गया 6 महीने में नौकरी जा रही है फॉर ऑल द टेक डेवलपर्स सो या इट आई मीन इट हेल्प्स स्टे इन टच विथ एवरीथिंग एंड above everything else, I think staying in touch with the deepest emotional fulfillment aspirations that any person might have. So teaching तो खैर अलग लीग की बात हो गई बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आया.
And I think you've also seen the pattern changes in CLAT and law entrances over the years. 2011 was a different beast altogether.
Yes.
And then 2015, then 2020 the pattern changed. And then even in the last 6 years, I think थोड़ा उन्होंने tweaking करा है from 150 questions to 120 questions and so on and so on. What's your thought on that?
So
Is it going in the right direction, or yeah, the type of students they eventually want to come in the top national law schools, क्या इस pattern के basis पे
So I've always felt, I mean, जब CLAT शुरू भी नहीं हुआ था, one thing I liked about the papers that I gave in 2005 and 2006 is उसमें particularly Bangalore में for example उनको एक subjective section आता था.
okay
चलो subjective section में short notes आते थे. That वो नहीं भी है तो I'm indifferent to it. But there was one part of the subjective section which was कि principal fact दिया था. And उसमें you had to argue from both sides in writing. So argue on behalf of the plaintiff 2-3 line में and argue on behalf of the defendant. So it just gave you a very good preview to how you're supposed to think as a lawyer. On the other hand, what most law aspirants are compelled to do because of the system that we have is they have to come to the conclusion that there's only one right answer. Right? And that's how I'm teaching them also. That's how I'm sure you're teaching them. कि option A correct है, B correct है. In the law, एक correct answer actually में नहीं होता unless it's a settled position. And even for settled position, तो Supreme Court में appeal तो हो ही सकता है. तो दूसरा वकील क्या जाके सीधा हार मान जाएगा आपकी, अरे सर वो actually यही है. So one thing I would want to see it getting reintroduced is probably this idea that you can argue from both sides. But I don't think it's happening. 2011 and 15, you rightly pointed out, 11 was English madness and 2015 was maths madness. So I think CLAT consortium is used to saying surprise as and when they feel like. I mean, I was involved with some of the CLAT work for the actual paper, not the questions part of it, but some of the solutions. Got discussions with the president of the CLAT consortium. Professor Shantakumar, actually, Dr. Shantakumar is the president of the CLAT consortium now as well. One of the other things that I think is continuing to be an issue in my mind is the fundamental bias towards English. I'm not saying regional language में ही paper को, although there are cases pending about that also.
Yes.
अब एक साल तो CLAT ने कह दिया कि too late हो गया है, अब एग्जाम कराना है तो नहीं कर रहे हम. अब कह रहे हैं कि it is difficult to make regional. अब UPSC करा पा रहा है तो I think CLAT consortium doesn't really have a valid reason. But I'm not pushing that. I'm just saying even if we conduct it in English, the access to people like me itself becomes a little more difficult compared to somebody who's from a more elite school background. I'm sure in your classes also you're able to sort of see those pockets of problems where you have to work a little harder with them simply because of. अब होता क्या है कि सिर्फ इंग्लिश सेक्शन नहीं है, आपको इंग्लिश में थोड़ी भी कमजोरी है तो क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग भी प्रॉब्लम होगी, लीगल रीजनिंग भी प्रॉब्लम होगी. अब तो जीके में भी आप पैसेज बता रहे हैं, मैथ्स में भी अंग्रेजी नहीं आती तो क्योंकि अगेन वो डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन और ये करके इट्स अ वेरी long question. Now you have to actually understand the maths question and then be able to do the maths question. So I think the focus on English probably could be reduced. I understand where the consortium is coming from because the official language in the constitutional courts of India, and this is information for all the students as well, you should keep it in mind that there is only one official language in the High Court and the High Courts of India, and there is only one official language in the Supreme Court of India, which is English. So I don't know, is it time for us to shed that colonial baggage? Are we going to continue to suffer in the colonial hangover? I think we've just gotten too used to हमारा ही conversation देख लो, मेरी मातृभाषा ओडिया है, तुम्हारी मातृभाषा हिंदी है, but the bulk of the conversation is happening in English. Again, I understand why, because अब पेपर इंग्लिश में हो रहा है तो हम जबरदस्ती तेलुगु, तमिल और ओडिया कैसे बोलने लगेंगे? Wouldn't make sense. So I understand where they're coming from. I would want to see it change one day and sort of open up the access to the forgotten pockets of India where I think brilliant minds exist, but brilliant linguistic dominance does not in terms of particularly English, which is why you'll see IIT has a far more economic diversity in terms of the background of students. क्योंकि अब मैथ्स तो जिसको भी आती है ना, तो अब ये नहीं होगा
लैंग्वेज से कोई कनेक्शन नहीं,
लैंग्वेज से कनेक्शन नहीं है,
Yeah.
तो आपको बिहार के गांव से भी बहुत लोग मिल जाएंगे, बिकॉज एज लॉन्ग एज यूर शार्प यूल रीच द IIT. But law school still remains a little elusive, little exclusive club, primarily because of the English dominance. So अगर मेरे मन में कुछ चेंज मैं कभी सजेस्ट करना चाहूँ तो मैं कहूँगा थोड़ा अंग्रेजी भाई डाइल्यूट करिए, ताकि भारत के ब्राइटर माइंड्स पहुंचे. अंग्रेजी तो वो बाद में सीख ही लेंगे. हाउ डिफिकल्ट विल इट बी टू पिक अप अ लैंग्वेज, जिसको लॉ आता है वो लैंग्वेज कैसे नहीं आएगा, वो सीख ही लेंगे. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई थिंक इज वन चेंज दैट आई वुड प्रोबेबली वांट टू सी.
And Deb, I think so now you've joined Karnavati, you're also teaching
Yes.
at Karnavati. So how did that happen? And secondly, I keep visiting a lot of law schools.
Yes.
I visited Karnavati also. So tell me a little bit about it. What kind of advantages that Karnavati has over a lot of other law schools, and especially in today's context, in context of where the world is going now,
Yes.
Where the legal world is going now in the next
Yes.
5, 7, 10 years. So what are your views on that?
I mean, I think one of the reasons why I think I'm at the right place, the place being Karnavati University, is first of all, obviously, I completely believe in the leadership of Lakshmi ma'am, and I've known her for so many years. She's always been a model academician, as well as the one or two meetings I've had since I recently joined with Ritesh sir as well, who's the president of Karnavati University. I think his vision is very aligned with the direction in which the world is going, not just India. And Gujarat, of course, continues to be a focus point for a lot of these channelizations in terms of the direction towards which India is going. So Karnavati is actually leading a lot of these changes.
Okay.
So for example, जैसे मैं mention कर रहा था कि we are exploring some law courses with actual industry people getting involved. नहीं, अब सभी 4 law firm partner को तो जानते होंगे, या और I can have a discussion with a couple of partners and say कि हाँ हमने उनसे input लेके कोर्स में अब वो किया, लेकिन वो इनपुट लेके करना और उन्हीं को बोलना कि आप ही बताइए कि somebody who's actually doing a transaction will be in a much better position to talk about what's happening in the court, what the SEBI is saying today, and how the RBI is dealing with a financial issue, today, or what the Competition Commission of India is thinking, because they're actually meeting those people on a daily basis. So we are going to do some of those things, particularly on something like energy laws. Again, everybody knows that the largest refinery in India is in Jamnagar. The Reliance refinery is actually the largest in the world. अब कितने सारे वो तो 6 जहाज अब आ गए हैं स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज की वजह से. LPG और फ्यूल का डिस्कशन तो ऑन अ डेली बेसिस इट्स ऑलरेडी पार्ट ऑफ मेन स्ट्रीम. बट यूल बी सरप्राइज टू नो आवर फोकस ऑन एनर्जी लॉज एट Karnavati has been well predating the whatever Donald Trump's escapades in Iran. Similarly, we are very proximately close to GIFT City.
Okay.
That's the Gujarat International Financial Tech City. And what a lot of people don't realize is, almost all the major multinational banks, from Bank of America, Goldman, the National Stock Exchange itself, SBI, pretty much everybody is at GIFT City because it's only deals in foreign currency. So all the foreign currency transactions, by the way, you cannot do INR transactions if you're doing a banking transaction inside GIFT City. It's only for foreign currency. So if there are foreign currency bonds, foreign issuances for equity, foreign debt, external commercial borrowing, all of it is channelized through GIFT City. So what that means is that our students have a much better opportunity in terms of sheer physical proximity. What's the advantage of having a law school in Delhi, for example, is Supreme Court बगल में है. सारे भारत के law firms साउथ दिल्ली में है या साउथ बॉम्बे में है अगर, तो देयर इज अ डिस्टिंक्ट एडवांटेज टू से समथिंग लाइक GLC, जहाँ चर्च गेट पे मेट्रो स्टेशन से आप निकलिए, रेलवे स्टेशन से निकलिए, सामने कैंपस है, 5 मिनट इधर उधर चलेंगे तो भारत के 5 लॉ फर्म आपको बड़े वाले वहीं हैं इन अ 15 मिनट वॉकिंग रेडियस. including the Cyril Amarchand office also is Lower Parel mein. So there is an advantage to that. Similarly, our students have a lot of access. It becomes very easy for us to get some people from Gift City to, then again incorporate specific financial training modules and so on. So whether it is energy laws, again, Adani is there, Adani Total Gas is there, Mundra Port is there. Gujarat has the longest coastline in India. So again, shipping laws, maritime laws. India has just passed 5 new maritime laws. Okay. And there's a lot of focus on maritime development. Sri Sarbanand Sonowal is the shipping minister right now. One of the major changes that's happening is you'll be surprised to know 95% of all containers in the world are manufactured by one country, that is China. So this year के budget में, I hope all of your students have definitely keeping track of it, क्योंकि उनको तो CLAT में भी पूछ सकते हैं. Is that there is a container manufacturing assistance scheme that the government has passed. इसने 10,000 crore का budget issue किया है और उसी में एक company भी incorporate कर लिया है, भारत कंटेनर करके, BCSL. So a lot of it is because of our coastal and how we are trying to position ourselves in the maritime sector. So again, Gujarat has a distinct advantage because longest coastline, major ports. So we have a lot of focus on both maritime laws, similarly energy laws, and of course financial and corporate, so mergers, acquisitions. I myself take a few lectures on the capital markets because I have been a capital market lawyer. I mean, I take M&A and because it's a similar thing that you have to do. There is a difference, but by and large, regulatory framework is the work that you do is largely similar. So because we have involved actual people and we understand the geographic advantage of being in Gandhinagar, being stone's throw away from Gift City, we're trying to incorporate all of those things, and that's why I'm very excited to continue working with Ritesh sir as well as Lakshmi ma'ams, and both of them, again, like I said, उन दोनों की leadership भी बहुत अच्छी है, in the sense that they also understand all of this that I'm trying to say. I think probably 30% of what I'm saying right now is their words as much as it is my belief, but it's not only my words. It's at least 30% is their words only. कि अच्छा अब हम लोग को ये करना चाहिए, अब ये करना चाहिए. So when you wake up every morning and you're interested in academic excellence, everything else automatically falls in place. जब ध्यान ही यही है कि क्या और कर सकते हैं, कैसे किसी को और इन्वॉल्व कर लें, तो अपने आप आउटपुट तो पॉजिटिव आना ही है, which is why I'm very excited to continue my association with Karnavati University.
जिन लोगों ने ये स्टार्ट करा होगा, जितने भी लॉ एस्पिरेंट्स, लॉ स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ तक का पूरा देख ही लिया होगा. वो इतना ज़्यादा एनरिचिंग सेशन रहा for law aspirant students, and I think even law graduates alike.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to wrap up. Any parting words, Deb, for everyone out there? I think for anyone who is in the field of law.
I think if there's one thing I've always believed is if you really like words and you think शब्दों का चयन ध्यान से होना चाहिए, then you're definitely in the right profession, irrespective of what specialization you choose, whether it's tax करो या corporate lawyer बनो या आप कर्णावती जैसे बढ़िया यूनिवर्सिटी में आके प्रोफेसर भी बनना चाहते हैं. It wouldn't matter as long as you're interested in words, as long as you love language. You're definitely at the right place, and I mean, many congratulations for choosing such a noble प्रोफेशन. अब कुछ लोग बदनाम करते ज़रूर हैं कि वो सफ़ेद कोट भी डॉक्टर्स ने ले लिया, काला वाला हमको दे दिया, बट black absorbs everything. It is a combination of all colors. That's when it becomes black, right? I mean, I think it's a matter of great pride and privilege for me to be able to say that I'm a graduate of law, and I hope every law aspirant and every law student feels the same pride and privilege. Many congratulations to everyone, and many congratulations to LegalEdge and to top rankers and your wonderful office and the spectacular classrooms. You're doing a fantastic job, I think, in terms of taking this message out and making sure that the students are reaching the right law schools, to the best of law schools. So many congratulations to you as well for making this noble choice. I think.
Thank you so much, Dev. In fact, one interesting part about our history is for many years, technically, both me and they were competitors. But और उसी दौरान somehow we got in touch, and just we used to speak once every
Yes.
few months, without really caring about कि यार competitors हैं तो मैं उसको ये बता दूंगा कि कितना स्टूडेंट्स है यहाँ पे और यहाँ से कोई टॉपर आने वाला है या हम यहाँ सेंटर खोलने वाले हैं तो उसको कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज मिल जाएगा या ये और वो. So I think one thing we understood about each other, and we have and there are a lot of people in the industry that जो सबने समझ लिया है एक दूसरे के बारे में कि यार we can be competitors, we need not be enemies.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean it's a small world. You and obviously confidential चीज़ें आप फिर इतना नहीं बताते हो, but otherwise हाँ मतलब you keep interacting, you keep exchanging ideas, you keep looking for areas where you can work together for the eventual betterment of all the law aspirants alike.
वो अटल जी हैज सेड इट इन अ वेरी नाइस वे. वो कहते थे, सदन पे भी एक बार बोला था कि मतभेद हो सकता है, मनभेद नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yes,
It's
yes.
and I think it's a very right way to, especially in the law. Disagreements तो होते रहेंगे, that's okay. Disagreement should not become dispute. And let the others fight and let us bill. That I understand. But otherwise, it really should not happen. And I think I've had the distinct pleasure of not having a dispute, but only disagreements. Even those are very few and far with you. So yeah, very nice.
Wonderful, yeah, wonderful. So thank you so much, guys. All the very best to everyone. All the very best to the CLAT aspirants. And since we are recording this in the month of April, so a lot of CLAT aspirants will now be venturing into becoming law students now. So all the very best to everyone who is joining the law school of their choice, I think in the next few months. And yes, अगर कोई भी और सवाल हो तो feel free to write in the comment box below. And that's it from our side. Thank you so much, Dev, for this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, yeah. Thank you so much. Take care. All the very best and bye.